Lizzie and Mrs. Talbot, examining Miss Lydia's room, while the police looked on, were certain that nothing was missing except what she had worn that night, a rusty black silk dress, a black mohair petticoat, and undergarments, and her usual black shoes and stockings. On a stand near the window sill stood the electric iron with which she had pressed Margaret Lancaster's veil. Lizzie was as calm as usual, a tall thin figure of a woman, not unlike Miss Lydia herself. Mrs. Talbot, however, was profoundly shaken. She could hold nothing, not even the glass of wine George got her, and her voice was a mere echo of its usual boom. Her habits? She said. She had none, except going to the movies. As to being kidnapped for a ransom, who's to pay it? She hadn't a penny, and I haven't much more. Not since this depression set in. You don't think it might be a case of loss of memory? She hadn't any memory to lose. Now, said the inspector, you have no reason to believe that she had any enemies, I suppose? Neither enemies nor friends. She lived a life of her own, and she was as nearly negative as any human being I ever knew. That was as far as they got with Mrs. Talbot. They tried to tell her that such disappearances were either compulsory or voluntary, and they asked her if she knew of any reason why Miss Lydia would have run away. Her only answer was that she had taken nothing to run away with, and that she had had a good home. Why leave it? By 2 o'clock that morning the search was in full cry. Both the common and no man's land had been searched without result, including all outbuildings facing on the latter, and the 1 or 2 policemen who had been on duty reported nothing suspicious. It was not until 3 a.m. that the first clue was picked up, and that proved to be the missing woman's bag, found on Euclid Street with its beaded strap broken, and looking as though it had either broken of itself or been jerked from her arm. It contained only a clean handkerchief, $1 or $2 in money, and an old hunting case watch with which everyone on the Crescent was familiar. It made a terrific noise, and all of us could remember Miss Lydia's bag on a table or a chair, ticking away like a grandfather's clock. Scarcely any of us went to bed that night. We gathered in small groups in each other's houses, Margaret and her nurse in the Talbots, where Miss Talbot sat like a woman stunned and Lizzie moved inscrutably about with coffee for everybody, and Jim Wellington and the Daltons with us. Something possessed me then to tell about the dumbwaiter incident, and I remember Brian Dalton examining the outlets, and at 4 in the morning insisting on nailing them all shut again. Laura Dalton had little to say. She seemed puzzled, but she looked happier than I had seen her look for a long time. She found an opportunity to tell me that she was sorry for what she had said the other day. I was hysterical, she said. Of course it wasn't true. And he hasn't been out of the house tonight, Louisa. Besides, why on earth should anyone kill Lydia Talbot? For that was what it had come to. Not one of us but believed that Lydia Talbot was already dead, the third and possibly the fourth in our list of murders. Chapter 41. The police in the meantime were working hard. One motive after another was examined and rejected. She had neither money nor enemies, and the two remaining possibilities were either loss of memory or a killing without reason. Subjected to this new test, even Margaret Lancaster's conviction, as shown in her statement, lost much of its value, and was before many hours had passed to be proved entirely mistaken as to her sister Emily's death at least. In the meantime, the Bureau of Missing Persons had sent out its usual messages by teletype, with a careful description of Miss Lydia. It was not only local. It extended to other cities, and to the state police of nearby states. Her name was placed upon the general alarm, and men were visiting the morgue, our hospitals and even our hotels and jails. Already too by daylight that next morning, Saturday, circulars were being printed, using an old snapshot of Miss Lydia which someone happened to have. I have one of these before me now. It reads: Missing since 9:30 Friday night, August the 26th, Miss Lydia Spencer Talbot. Born in the United States. Age 52. Height 5 feet 8. Weight about 130 pounds. Gray hair, parted and worn in hard knot. Flat curls on forehead. Complexion medium fair. Gray eyes. Denture with 4 teeth, molars, lower jaw. No identifying marks on body. Wore black silk dress, not new, black mohair underskirt, black shoes and hose. No rings or other jewelry. No laundry or other marks on clothing. In addition to all this, radio broadcasts had already been sent out, police boats on the river were on the lookout for a body, and the night police reporters assigned to the various station houses had abandoned their usual poker games for what promised to be another sensation. with one result that none of them had anticipated, which was the return of Helen Wellington. It must have been 10 o'clock in the morning when she telephoned to me from the same hotel downtown where I had found her before, and her voice was strained with excitement. "Can you come down right away?" she asked. "I can't locate Jim or Herbert Dean, and I'm blithering all over the place." "I suppose it's true?"